Hello and welcome. I'm Dr. Diana Sharp, and I'm the manager of two partnerships supported by the Regional Educational Lab Southeast. One partnership is with leaders at Florida Virtual School, and the other is with leaders at South Carolina's state-supported virtual school, Virtual SC. Both partnerships are aimed at improving student success in online learning through greater understanding and use of educational research. Today, I'm joined by Dr. April Fleetwood, the lead from Florida Virtual School in our partnership. She's the Florida Virtual School Administrator of Research and Evaluation, and she's brought one of her colleagues with her, Amy Clark. Amy Clark is a Director of Instruction for Florida Virtual School with over a decade of experience in virtual education. April and Amy, welcome, and thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, Diana.
Yes, we're happy to be here.
We also have another Amy joining us, Dr. Amy Whiteside. Amy Whiteside is an associate professor at the University of Tampa and an expert researcher in the area of social presence, our main topic for today. Amy, thank you so much for talking with us today.
Of course, it's great to be part of this conversation.
Amy Whiteside, I'll start with you to give our listeners some background about social presence and your research with it. Certainly with the current COVID-19 crisis, social distancing has become part of the national consciousness, but you've been working on the concept of social presence a lot longer. Where did that term come from?
The first time I encountered social presence was with my dissertation research back in 2003. As a curriculum coordinator on a multi-million-dollar FIPSE, or Fund for the Improvement of Post-Secondary Education grant that was garnered through the Department of Education, I had the privilege of working with students who were superintendents, principals, and various educational leaders in a school technology leadership program. These leaders became so connected with one another during an on-campus July term that I wondered how they would retain that same level of connectedness in the online portion of the program. Researching keywords, connectedness, and online learning quickly led me to Stephen Aragon's book chapter, Creating Social Presence in Online Environments. From there, I started researching the work of Karen Swan, Lani Ganarodina, and Randy Garrison, who are expert social presence researchers.
And how do you explain social presence to people when they hear it for the first time?
I still draw on that human connectedness to explain social presence to people when they hear about it for the first time. They understand connections and relationships, and that we are all social beings who crave engagement and a sense of belonging. It's something that everyone can understand quickly, and connectedness is truly at the heart of social presence.
I know you also have an article where you use Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood to describe elements of social presence. Can you say a little about that?
Yes, it has also been helpful to draw from the Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood show when explaining social presence. Educators love a challenge, and I have encouraged educators to integrate Fred Rogers' social presence into their practice, to lead with compassion, celebrate diversity, innovation, and creativity, and simultaneously model the importance of inquiry, problem solving, and critical thinking.
So that analogy and other talks that I've had with you have helped me to realize that elements in your model of social presence could be powerful in any environment where teachers need to connect with learners, whether it's online learning or television learning or even face-to-face learning. And I have to say that learning about social presence over the past year and talking about it with you and our FLVS partners has even influenced me as somewhat of a typical academic introvert and how I try to connect more strongly and have better relationships with the people I work with, some of whom I see face to face and others that I only see, especially now, remotely. And I guess my telling you and our audience this part of my experience is a good example of self-disclosure, which has come up in your research on social presence.
Yes, that's right.
I certainly find myself thinking of social presence even more now that we all have to be so much more intentional about connecting with people. Like most people, you and I haven't had a chance to get together or even talk much together these past several months. I've been wondering, do you explain social presence any differently now that we are in this new world of social distancing?
I do still explain it the same in our new COVID-19 world, but I am truly disheartened by the term social distancing. It saddens me when any word or phrase connected with social in it becomes aligned with a negative connotation. Although the World Health Organization and European Center for Disease Prevention and Control updated their messaging with physical distancing, it appears they were too late and that we are stuck with social distancing out in the vernacular. We need each other more than ever, so kindness and compassion should be our guide in quarantine, and social presence or connectedness becomes even more important.
How do you describe the types of research that you and your collaborators have conducted so far on social presence?
I've been conducting case study research on social presence for almost 2 decades. I, often with a mix of talented research partners, have explored numerous cases in online and blended learning at both university and K-12 levels. Although instructor and students often serve as our primary research audience, we have also extended our research to leaders, administrators, and parents.
Can you give a couple of examples of how that research has influenced the development of your model?
Sure. From 2008 to 2011, Dr. Amy Garrett Dickers, Associate Professor of Educational Leadership at the University of North Carolina, Wilmington, and I explored social presence in 3 subsequent iterations of an online human rights education course with students all around the world. The data from this study demonstrated the power of self-disclosure for social presence. And from 2014 to 2016, Dr. Amy Garrett Dickers, Summer Lewis, and I partnered with Huntley High School, a Midwestern high school, to research blended learning courses delivered simultaneously along with face-to-face courses. In this case study, we discovered the role of connectedness and social presence in helping high school students to take responsibility and feel college ready.
Let's turn now to our Florida Virtual School partners. April, as Amy just mentioned, there's been some research on social presence in K-12 learning, but much of the research on social presence has been done at the university level. What interested you in your role at Florida Virtual School? And I will be referring to it in shorthand as FLVS. So what interested you in your role at FLVS in this research as a topic of learning for K-12 online education teachers?
As I became familiar with the research on social presence through our work with REL Southeast, I realized the relevance of the social presence model to the work FLVS teachers do with students. FLVS teachers work closely with students and their families to build personalized online education experiences with each one of them. Our teachers seek to engage students and families in multiple ways, which makes social presence extremely important to the work we do. Another reason I became interested in this research is that our research at FLVS and the literature in the field of online learning have revealed there are notable differences between teaching and learning at the higher ed and K-12 levels. This fact, coupled with my personal interest as an educator in student engagement, led me to want to delve more into the social presence model in the K-12 space, particularly at a time when more students are turning to online learning for their educational needs.
And Amy Clark, I know you've brought up some really good points about the differences between online learning at the university level and the K-12 level that have been apparent to you in your role at FLVS as Director of Instruction. Can you talk a little about that and why it's important to think about those differences as we dig deeper into social presence for K-12 learning?
Yes. In fact, teachers may come into online teaching with differing views of online learning from their own experiences in college. which can sometimes pose a challenge because the way we deliver content and courses at FLVS is very different from online courses in college. At FLVS, we pay very close attention to students' pacing and whether they have missed assignments, which is sometimes the opposite of what happens if an adult is taking online college courses. College students also have different motivations for taking courses online than K-12 students do. The intrinsic motivation for college students who are paying for a course and have a career in mind, for example, may not be present for students at the K-12 level with different circumstances. Age and attention spans are very different for younger students as well.
April, are there specific elements of the social presence model you think are important to share with K-12 online teachers or that need more attention by researchers?
I think all the elements of the social presence model are important to share with K-12 online teachers, but a few stand out to me more than the others, such as affective association, instructor involvement, and interaction intensity. This is probably because, relating to what Amy Clark just described, some of the elements likely look different in higher education online courses than they do in FLVS K-12 online courses.